Hi, this is Stephen Brower, and this video is meant to be a brief introduction to Chapter 1, which is a brief introduction to operating systems. First, just a little logistical info from the timeline. So I'm in the timeline for this session for Week 1, Chapter 1. There is the link for the slides, and this will open up a PDF. The PDF that I have created is one that will come up at two slides per page. Now that does mean if you are going to be printing out, it actually is going to be a pretty large printout. It is going to be a pretty large printout. So this one here, it's actually going to be 21 pages long. If enough students ask, or if students ask, I will add a second link that has 6 pages per if you do choose to print it out. Anyway, so think of this introductory chapter as being sort of an overview of what we're going to cover in the course. If I just jump over here to page 3, besides having an overview on what an operating system is, one thing we're going to look at within this chapter are these subsystem managers, one for memory, one for processor, one for device, one for file. And we're also going to see how the user interface works with these, and then the network management subsystem as well. It's a lot of information all at once in a chapter, but we're going to have 2 chapters later just on the memory manager. So we're going to have how older systems, earlier or more simpler systems were done, and then how virtual memory is done. Then we'll take a look at what is a process, and then how processors are managed. We'll look at how devices are managed. We'll take a closer look at like the hard drive, and then we'll look at how the file management is done. So that represents chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 chapters just on these 4 topics here that are introduced within this chapter. So this chapter might seem a little overwhelming because it's so much information at once, but just keep in mind that there's going to be 8 chapters where we look at that in a little more detail. Then it actually will have an even later chapter where we take a look at network, or a couple chapters where we look at networks. That's another 2 there. So again, think of this first introductory chapter as being sort of an overview of what is yet to come later in the course. Some of the other things that are going to be introduced within this chapter is the concept of what is a process, and talking about the operating system and the importance of the operating system kernel. So some other things are introduced here, but it's these subsystems which are introduced in this chapter, and it's the latter chapters that are going to go over these subsystems.